Storybeans presents The Little Bee Who Caught Hay Fever. In the heart of the countryside, nestled between rolling green hills and golden meadows, there lay a pasture which contained more flowering plants than you could ever imagine. Cow parsley and clover danced in the breeze. Fragrant honeysuckle and bindweed decorated the hedgerows, and the air hummed with the chatter of insects. Busby the bee lived in a hive at the edge of the pasture. He was a young, determined little bee with stripy fuzz, bright wings, and the biggest heart in the colony. Busby loved his job, gathering pollen and helping the flowers grow. But he had one small problem. He had hay fever. Now, bees aren't usually bothered by hay fever, but Busby was different. The moment he flew too close to a dandelion or brushed against a blade of dry grass, his nose would twitch. Achoo! Busby would sneeze so hard he'd tumble out of the air and land in a daisy patch. "You can't be a pollen collector if you're allergic to pollen," teased Bramble, a bossy beetle who lived under a nearby log. But Busby was determined to prove himself. One morning, Queen Belinda of the hive summoned all her bees. "Listen, my honeymakers," she announced. "The Great Flower Festival is in just 3 days' time. We must gather enough nectar to fill the honeycomb and decorate the hive with flower petals. This is our biggest event of the year." All the bees buzzed with excitement. "This year," continued Queen Belinda, "I'm trusting Busby to lead the collection team." There was a stunned silence. Then Bramble the beetle snorted from the log. "Him? The bee who sneezes on sunflowers?" Busby's wings drooped, but he buzzed bravely. "I won't let you down, Your Majesty." The next morning, Busby zipped out across the pasture. The meadow shimmered with wildflowers, bluebells, buttercups, foxgloves, and daisies. He landed on a geranium and gently dipped in. Achoo! Pollen exploded into the air like pink smoke. Busby tumbled backwards into a spider's web. "Watch it," grumbled a sleepy spider named Cyril. "You've wrecked my breakfast net." "Oh, sorry," sniffed Busby, untangling his wings. "I've got hay fever." Cyril blinked. "Then maybe you shouldn't be doing this alone." "I have to," said Busby. "The Queen's counting on me." Busby flitted from flower to flower, sneezing and stumbling and gathering only a tiny bit of nectar. His basket was barely full, and his nose was getting sniffier by the minute. As the sun climbed higher, Busby flopped onto a buttercup and sighed. "I'll never finish in time," he murmured. Just then, a small voice chirped. "Maybe you don't have to." Busby blinked. Sitting on a nearby rock was Midge, the grasshopper, who was polishing his powerful back legs. "You look like you could use a little help," Midge offered. Busby perked up. "Really? You'd help me collect nectar?" "Sure," said Midge with a grin. "I may not be great with flowers, but I can jump far and spot them fast. That'll save you time." Busby's wings buzzed with hope. Thanks, Midge." They set off together, Midge bounding ahead to scout the juiciest flowers, and Busby fluttering behind, scooping up the nectar. Later that afternoon, as they worked near the hedgerow, they ran into Bramble the beetle again. "Still behind, Sneezy Wings?" he sneered. Busby bristled. "We're doing fine." "You'll never fill a honeycomb like that," Bramble said, laughing. Just then, Midge had an idea. "What if we asked everyone to help?" Busby tilted his head. "Everyone?" "Yes," said Midge. "If lots of us work together, it won't be so hard. That's what my granny always said. Many legs make quick work. Or was it hands? Busby's eyes sparkled. Many hands make light work. So, the next morning, Busby gathered all the insects of the pasture. Midge played his legs like a fiddle to call them in. Soon, a crowd had gathered. Lily the ladybird, Freddie the firefly, a team of polite ants, and even Sammy the spider, sipping tea from a dewdrop cup. Busby stood on a toadstool and addressed the crowd. "Friends, I need your help. The flower festival is tomorrow and we don't have enough nectar. I can't do it alone. Will you help me?" The ants saluted. "We're excellent at carrying things." "I can light up the night shift," said Freddie the firefly, flashing proudly. "I can gather petals for decorations," offered Lily. Even Bramble the beetle grunted. "I suppose I could carry a few loads if it's not too dusty." Busby beamed. "Let's do it together." And together they did. The pasture buzzed with teamwork. Ants marched in lines carrying nectar droplets on leaves. Midge zoomed across the meadow directing traffic. Lily the ladybird picked the prettiest petals. Sammy the spider spun sticky strands to carry baskets. And Freddie the firefly lit up dark corners of the hive. Busby, free to take lighter trips, sneezed less and smiled more. By the end of the day, the honeycomb was full. The hive was decorated with brilliant petals, and not a single flower had been forgotten. When Queen Belinda flew down to inspect, her eyes widened. "Busby, you've done it," she cried. "It's beautiful." Busby bowed, blushing. "I didn't do it alone, Your Majesty. Everyone helped." Queen Belinda smiled warmly. "Then let it be known, the flower festival was saved not by one buzzing bee, but by many helpful friends." That evening, as fireflies lit up the hive and music filled the air, Busby sat beside Midge, nibbling on a honey cookie. "I couldn't have done it without you," he said. Midge chuckled. Well, maybe not me alone, but all of us together, we were unstoppable." Busby nodded, watching the insects laugh and dance. "Many hands make light work," he whispered, finally understanding the old saying. And from that day on, Busby never tried to do everything alone again, even if he did still sneeze on sunflowers. Thank you for watching Story Beans. See you next time.